Hello all, Jamie Rodgers here from Craftmania, and today I'm going to introduce you to an amazing bundle offer we have on the architectural collection of stamps. Now this collection is one that's very dear to my heart. I absolutely love this bundle and I'm hoping you're going to fall in love with it as much as I have. Now, before we delve into what is literally endless piles of samples to help inspire you with this collection, let's do a little bit of housework, shall we? If you do fall in love with these items, where am I going to buy them? What P&P am I going to pay for them? All of those vital bits. So, where to find them? You can pop onto the website www.craftmaniacrafts.com, and on there you can have a little look around. There's over 10,000 items that you can of course pop into your basket and check out. But if you would like to just cut through it all and get just to the architecture collection, then pop onto the little link that's in the description to today's video. It's literally in the right uppy bit. Give it a click and it'll take you through to the right page for these items. Now, postage. If you spend over £10 with us here at Craftmania on these items or any other items and you live within the UK, you're going to qualify for free UK P&P. If you spend less than £10, then your P&P is capped at just £2.95. Whether you spend under £10 or above £10, you can choose, if you wish to upgrade to first class P&P for a flat rate of £3.95. If you're watching this video from anywhere else in the world and you're thinking, well, UK P&P doesn't fit in for me, do they send internationally? Of course we do. International P&P is capped at just £10. If we find it cheaper than £10, we'll actually refund the difference to you. If it costs more than £10, here at Craftmania, we will pay that extra bit for you so you don't have to, as we try to keep P&P costs as low as we possibly can for all of our customers worldwide. Now then, today's bundle, let's have a little look at this, shall we? This is a, to me, incredible collection. We have got for you the Happy Birthday background stamp, the Newsprint Days Gone By background stamp, the Floral Vines background stamp, and just as a little spoiler, these two have a bit of a party trick that we're going to get to shortly. We then also have the Fairytale Castle, which is part of the architectural collection. We then have the Village Pub. On top of that, we've got the church. And lastly, oh, I've done a mistake here, wait there, here we go. We have got the Lighthouse as well. So Lighthouse, church, pub and castle. These are kind of your focal element stamps that, in my mind, try to carry us throughout the year and try and tick the boxes for some of them difficult to craft for people. Maybe you've got some children that you're crafting for. Maybe it's some gentlemen that you're possibly crafting for. Maybe it's a wedding, a sympathy, a Christmas. All of these kind of things can all be covered with this collection. And that's before we start delving into those backgrounds and thinking of all of the occasions they're going to come in for as well. Now this bundle, as you see it, of course these items are available individually and we'll talk about that in just a second, but bundle wise, that's where your biggest saving is going to be. If you wish to, you can buy the bundle. The recommended retail price for this one is £75.93. But you can actually save quite a small fortune here and pick up the bundle for just £64.99, and that of course will include free UK P&P. So you can have all of these lot delivered to your door for £64.99. Now then, if you do wish to go for them individually, what are we looking at then? Well, the DL stamps, that's these ones here. These ones individually should be £11.99, but your offer price on these is £10.79 if you wish to go for them individually. The A6 stamps, these four here, your architectural collection ones, these ones should be £9.99 individually, but you can purchase these ones for £8.99 while they're on offer. But of course, the biggest saving, as always, is going to be going for the bundle, giving you all three of the DL stamps and all four of the A6 stamps for just £64.99. So let's have a little look through then, shall we, and see what we can achieve with these stamps, because I have a feeling you're truly going to fall in love with these. Now, as we move through our first couple, our floral lines and our happy birthday, I mentioned these ones had a bit of a party trick, didn't I? The party trick with these is that they match up with our Pinstripe Elegance stamp. Now this one is of course not in the bundle, it's from a previous collection and is available in a different bundle, but of course can be purchased individually if it's one you would like to add on to this collection. Now, the Pinstripe stamp has quite a lot of uses to it. It of course can be used on its own to create journaling or pages in a booklet or any other sort of tabs that you want to. It can be multi-stamped to create some incredible tartan effects, but it also matches up with a few different items. So in today's bundle, it is going to match up with our happy birthday lines, and you can actually stamp this inside each of those happy birthday lines. Now, of course, you can do this all in one medium or one colour or one finish, or you could do the lines in one colour and then the wording in another, or open up a whole opportunity of possibilities by mixing and matching between different mediums and finishes. Then your floral lines. You've probably guessed already, but this matches perfectly with your floral lines to do exactly the same as what it's going to do with a happy birthday one. There is also a snowflake stamp that matches this one and sits in the middle of it. And there is also a couple of Christmas stencils that also work with this stamp set. And there is more coming later in the year that will also coordinate back to this stamp. So if you haven't already got the Pinstripe Elegance, it might be one that you wish to add into your shopping list or wish list as you go through, because this one is kind of an essential. Again, this one should be £11.99, but is on offer for £10.79. But do have a little look around the website because you will find it in its bundles as well, just not included in the architectural bundle that we're looking at today. Now, let's start off by looking at some samples with our beautiful floral vines, shall we? So here we've got the floral vines been stamped in the background in this lovely soft purple that coordinates, of course, through to the colours of the turrets and into the mats and layers as well. Then, of course, we move on and we've got the floral vines this time being used in the background, and then added over the top here is, of course, our lovely pub. Now, one of the things to note with these DL stamps is they're very easy to match up and extend, whether that's extending them in length or in width. It's very easy and achievable to do. If you do wish to team them with that Pinstripe stamp, then here's a little example of the castle teamed up with just that going on in the background. Another beautiful card here, this one done by Wendy, if I remember rightly. Wendy has created a lovely little picture effect card where she's used the floral vines going down the side there and then added in some of the other elements from the other stamp sets to build up and create that beautiful effect. Now, moving swiftly on to our happy birthday lines. So our happy birthday lines, again, has got a whole host of opportunities with it, whether we used it on its own to just make like a little gift wallet. Maybe we're going to pop some money in here. Maybe we're going to put a little voucher behind the ribbon. There could be all sorts going on in there. Maybe tickets to a Broadway show or a West End show. Something along them lines can be very easily achievable in a very simple way. Now, of course, that could be the voucher pocket or the money pocket or the gift card pocket to go along with a matching card. So here's a slightly larger version of this done as a card, where I've then embossed it using our heart stencil, and I've done that on a multicoloured background that I've created with metallic inks. On a similar note, this of course does work with our Pinstripe line stamp. So bringing in the Pinstripe lines and stamping those over the top of the happy birthday to give you that double stacked effect. Or of course going back to using it on its own as a larger format to go behind our castle. Now once again, a bit like I was talking about with the floral vines background stamp, very easy to match up and continue that down to make larger backgrounds if you wish. And of course, why not think about colour matching your stamping with this one into what's going to be going on in the other mats and layers. So this one's using our Piggy Pink ink to actually stamp out the background and then teaming that with our Rose Petal Pink for all of the layers and the flowers. Very, very pretty and very delicate. I also like the way this one's been cut out into a circle. Sometimes when we look at these sort of rectangular stamps, we tend to square them off. It's actually really refreshing to see that being used as a circle and a more softer shape as such. So never be afraid once you've done your stamping to start cutting them about and creating new effects with them. Then we move on to one of my favourite stamps in this release. This is our Newsprint Days Gone By stamp. I absolutely love this because there is so many parts to this stamp that cater for all throughout the year. And not only throughout the year, throughout different people that we might wish to be sending cards to. Different topics, different themes. So for instance, we've got the cafe being mentioned in here. We've got perfume, we've got a typewriter, we've got a sewing machine, we've got a penny farthing, we've got some fashion. There's a gossip column, there's a craft market, there's a winner section. There is all different bits, sport news, all coming through to give you that multi-use background stamp, whether it's working with this collection, whether it's working with collections you've already got. Maybe it's to go in as a background to go behind your Easter flowers and Easter eggs for your Easter cards. Maybe it's just something very simplistic that you want to add behind a little floral display. Very easy, very achievable, very smart. And again, you start thinking about stamping in different colours of inks, maybe bringing in the wine glasses and the beer glasses that are going to be coming up in the pub set, and adding those in inside some apertures like this card here, or maybe adding this in with our steampunk die set from the mechanical collection, and then picking out a couple of the little words and stacking these up. It all works, doesn't it? Even just looking at it here, from the nice bright reds right the way through to the navies, right the way through to those sort of gold soft tones, it's going to work for you. Or how about, like Wendy has here, go off with our metallic ink pads and create a whole rainbow effect that's been created on this background, and then wrap round our lace die to give that beautiful focal point, and then add on a few flowers. Or another example here done by Wendy, where she's stamped the background in a nice soft light grey and then added on these beautiful flowers and decorations over the top, which again are really, really stunning for you to see. Now, moving on. Oh, actually, I've got one more one that I wanted to share with you. Here's another one here with our stamp. And this has been done just with a couple of tones of ink. There's been some stamping done with black ink and some done with our metallic blue inks to give a two-tone effect to that card. And this one's been left very simple, very elegant. And it's designed really as maybe like a little notebook card, nothing too heavy, not really necessarily pointing towards an effect or a reason. Maybe you're just going to add on a little sentiment that says something like "just for you" on there. Now, moving on to our picture stamp, shall we? So let's start off with our beautiful church. Here's a lovely scrapbook page done with our church. You can see the main church item used on the top up here, and then the cross, which also comes with the church, down on the side. Now, don't forget, in with this stamp set, you've also got "on your christening," "congratulations," "on your wedding," "with sympathy," and "thinking of you," all being brought in as separate sentiments. And one of the things to notice for the sentiments throughout this collection is the fonts match up. So maybe you want "always here for you" with sympathy. Maybe you want "drinks are on me," and then teaming that one with "have a magical day," which comes in with the castle. It all works, they all match, they all coordinate, and that's really essential to be able to build up your inserts, your tags, your outside sentiments, all the way throughout your crafty projects, and make sure that everything coordinates. You'll also notice in the background of this page is, of course, our lovely floral vine stamp being stamped just down in a nice shade of blue. Now, that cross does, of course, make a lovely focal point for a "with sympathy" card. The church coming in here is again gorgeous for wedding cards. Another wedding card here where we've created a little gatefold card with some beautiful flowers on one side and the church on the other. Our "congratulations on your christening" card being achieved here with the cross and the floral vines being used in the background of it. Another wedding card with the church making its sort of focal point here, and then an embossed hearts background behind it, and then some splats of some ink, and these beautiful flowers being built up around the edge of the church, all done with a really thick vellum. Another really stylistic one here with the church being stamped out in grey, and then the little "congratulations" being stamped on the top there. Maybe you do want to bring in your fancy embossing powders. So this one's been done with a beautiful pink embossing powder, and then a beautiful soft pink being used on the bottom there of the easel, and then teaming that with our lovely rose petal pink cardstock throughout for the mats and layers and flowers. Another one on vellum here, this time again a thick vellum that's been stamped on and heat embossed and then coloured on the reverse and set inside one of our foiled inkable frames. Now, of course, the church can be used all throughout the year. So how about bringing that in with our classic poinsettia and entwined foliage and jolly holly corners to create this beautiful sort of frosty winter Christmassy theme. It doesn't even have to necessarily be Christmas, it could be a nice winter birthday. It's all going to be down to the sentiment we add on the inside. Now, another christening card here. This one again is making use of that pinstripe line stamp, that vine stamp as well, and of course our church here in the centre of it, as well as the "congratulations" and "on your christening" sentiment stamps being used. One of the bits I absolutely adore about stamping is stamping on different items. So of course, a lot of what we're looking at today has been on vellums and cards and papers, but how about MDF? There's no reason why we can't stamp on MDF. So this one has been coloured with ink to begin with. Then I've stamped over the top with a newsprint stamp. Then I've stamped on our church and coloured in with some pencils to give some really beautiful effects. I love doing these. You're going to see a few of these throughout the samples I share with you. Another really stunning, kind of paired back with sympathy card. Very elegant in the whites and the creams that are working through this one, with just that pop of colour really honing in on the church there, and of course passing on them warm feelings of sympathy that we can give through that imagery. Another with sympathy card here again, and this time pairing it back quite a lot. And this is something I would really highlight. I often say when in my videos and lives and on shows, I'm not the best colorist. I'm really not. I be honest about our abilities. I know we all kind of struggle sometimes to see our worth in what we create, but there is sometimes the ability to say, do you know what? I'm not brilliant at X or Y, and that's okay too. And I know I'm not the best colorist. So if I can design a stamp for you that actually does the most of the heavy lifting, the majority of the heavy lifting, so you can stamp that and not worry that you haven't added even one iota of colour in, and yet you've still got a beautiful card, to me, I've done my job right. And that's what I think we're showing you with this card here. We're showing you just left as a black and white image. It doesn't have to have colour. It doesn't have to have any more done to it. It can be that simple. If you prefer, if you do want to bring in some colour, then maybe stamp on a shade, bring in some white elements with a white gel pen, and then a little few areas of green with some alcohol inks maybe, or some watercolour inks, just something to bring in that little level of texture. This one hasn't had a sentiment added to it on the outside, but again could easily be for a wedding. Now, talking of that simplistic styling again, this time a gold gel pen being added in to bring out some of the gold layers and to match in with our foiled inkable frames, and then a little bit of green added in again for the foliage and the trees, which again works really nicely. Another little small with sympathy one here, this time done on some pearlescent card. Another with sympathy one done here, actually heat embossing in gold and cutting out and layering that cross, which looks really beautiful. Another with sympathy, this time using just the cross on its own and stamping that out to make a little background. And then our last sample with the church for now, bringing in some flower soft and decorating around the church, bringing in some of the extra trees that I believe that you're going to find in with the Fairytale set, the castle set, and adding those on to give a bit more depth to that scene. Now, we've mentioned the castle. Let's move on to that castle, shall we? That beautiful Disney-esque castle is going to be front and centre for these samples. So this time we're going to have another page again, sharing with you a bit of vellum that we've stamped on the floral vines, and that castle coming in to be really the attention-seeking moment at the top here. But just like I mentioned earlier, no colouring on this, just left black and white. This imagery is so strong, if you don't want to colour them, you really don't have to. A few flowers and a couple of ribbons added in to make a little bit of detail in the background on that one. Now, when we go onto our cards, how about stamping the background with that happy birthday stamp and then adding on that castle to be the focal point? That's going to work really nicely. How about stamping in that castle, adding in the clouds and the sun at the top there, and then painting in with some of our metallic ink pads or reinkers. I mentioned earlier the MDF. How about another one of these created in exactly the same way? So I've blended ink over the background, I've stamped in our metallic gold inks, the Days Gone By newsprint stamp, then I've stamped on top of that our castle and coloured in with some pencils. Another card this time showing you don't have to colour these images if you don't want to. Maybe you don't like colouring, maybe you're trying to batch make, maybe you're making to sell and you want to give this with a little packet of pencils that somebody can then sit and colour before they pass it on. That's going to work really nicely too. If you do want to colour, then look at this beautiful one. How shiny and glorious is this one? With all that glitz and glamour coming in, I could see that being a great child's card, or maybe for somebody young at heart. Another one that again is aimed at a child here, a nice 7-year-old birthday card. Again, adding in that little number does really set the scene. This velvet ribbon down the side is really luxurious, but teaming it with that mirror card really keeps it young and modern and fresh, which is really lovely. Another one here going for a nice bright pink castle, highlighting some of the areas on the castle with a nice silver gel pen. And then moving forward, oh, this one's clever. This is like a little diorama card where it's all set out on different layers, bringing that castle to life, giving you all of these sort of bushes and areas that you're going to find within here. You've got these little flower beds, you've got the extra trees. If you want to build up a scene, you've even got the cloud and the sun there to really go to town and be able to do so. Another one here with the castle using the happy birthday background to go behind it, adding in some of our corners, of course our with love, and of course our elegant butterfly on the top there. Now, waterfall cards are one of my favourites to create. This one's actually been done by Wendy, I believe. But Wendy's created this cool waterfall card, and she's added in the castle on the front here, and some flowers, and even some little flowers down on the front as well. Really building out that scene. Oh, I gave credit to Wendy, I'm sorry, this one's done by Lynn. Lynn's also chose to use the happy birthday stamp to make up the background to go behind that card as well, which is really lovely. So they are a few samples created with the Fairytale castle. Let's move on from the castle and go to the lighthouse, shall we? So in with the lighthouse, you've got You Light Up My Life, always here for you. Thank you for being there. And ahoy there, as well as your main focal lighthouse stamp. When we look at the cards created with this one, I think you'll agree, these are absolutely gorgeous. This one I do believe has been done by Wendy, and Wendy has created that lovely sort of life raft effect, life buoy, and then added some rope around it, and then added in our stamp scene to the middle. She's then used the happy birthday stamp on the bottom here, and she's also used the happy birthday background stamp to go across the bottom there, and across the base of the card, and of course the top of the card as well. Very, very elegant, that card. I really love it. This one again done by Ian. Ian's gone really bright and beautiful for his lighthouse. This time teaming with one of our stencils that he's used our Elite Misters through to make the background, and then stamped and layered that on the front. And I really like how he's laid this out. It's not a layout I would normally do personally. I tend to put my pictures towards the top of the project and then my sentiments towards the bottom. But the way he's laid this out leaves room for sending love and wishes, and You Light Up My Life at the bottom here without it being too wordy or too heavy, which I thought was really clever. Another one here stamping very simplistically in black ink onto our pebble grey card and then highlighting some of the areas with a white gel pen. Teaming that up with a lovely ribbon and the happy birthday background to go behind it works really nicely. This one's done by Lynn. Lynn has done a lovely easel card using our circle mats and layers dies, and in the middle to the circle she's obviously popped our lovely lighthouse. The happy anniversary on the base there, and used our pinstripe stencil with some of our gemstones texture paste to make up that really striking background. We've then got one here done by Sharon, and Sharon has stamped the lighthouse and layered that in the middle and added the You Light Up My Life around the edges, which works really nicely. Now you can tell I fell in love with these, can't you? We're back to the MDF. Exactly the same setup, but this time using the lighthouse as the central part to this one. Now this is a cool card. This one's done by Wendy, and Wendy's used that pinstripe stamp to make up her background and then created this really cool triangular effect on the front of her card. She then used the lighthouse stamp in the middle there to really make that focal point pop. Now another one, again, showing you don't have to add colour. Maybe you just want something very simple, very quick to make. The lighthouse again is going to work for you beautifully in that sense. If you also wish to, you could of course die cut out of just a black and white stamped image and then team that back together to make these sort of triple panel or quadruple panel effects. This is actually one of our sentiment dies, the outside edges that come with that, and it's just the outside edges used to make those effects. Now talking of leaving them blank, again just another little idea, is going in and highlighting with gold gel pen to really bring in some detail and that little halo effect. That could also look really nice with a silver pen or maybe some coloured pens. It's not really colouring, it's just kind of doodling and adding in a few pieces of detail without nothing too heavy really. Another one here with our lighthouse being used in the middle of that kind of porthole styling. Another one here with our lighthouse being put into this beautiful glitzy frame. Another one here where Ian's created this effect and then added on some 3D embellishments, which looks really, really lovely. I also like the way he's added these lattice corners in around the edges. Another one of the black and white styling added into the foiled inkable frames. Another black and white one here using with our Nellie Snellen embossing folder of brickwork. So it gives kind of a Banksy-esque look to it. So stamp first, then emboss. And then another one here teaming in the background stamp, that lovely, beautiful Newsprint Days Gone By stamp, again stamping in that black and blue colour scheme. Now I shared with you this card earlier. This is actually the die cut centre that's come from in that panel. So I've used a foiled inkable, I've stamped over it all, I've die cut out the middle to create that card, and then within the aperture created, I've layered up and created our lighthouse image in the middle there. And then added "You Light Up My Life" on that little tab at the bottom. Now that gives you a little glimpse of what you could be creating, of course, with our lighthouse. Now there is just one more stamp to go, and this, of course, is our pub. Saving the pub till the end of the day. Now in with the pub, we've got "Happy Birthday," "Drinks Are On Me," "Fancy a Pint," "Let's Celebrate," "Here's to You," "Take It Easy," and all important "Cheers," along with a wine glass and, of course, a beer glass. So perfect here to make up your pubby scenes. When we go on to our scrapbook page idea, you're going to notice that the pub is stamped in the bottom base here. Over our background and over our flowers, we have stamped the Newsprint Days Gone By stamp, and then we've created these two big focal areas for you to be able to add in your photos to really kind of bring together that page. And then again, top and bottom, we've got a couple of areas that you could add some journaling or dates to. Now moving on to our first card. Again, we've gone for the newsprint background behind it, and we've added on the pub scene and a couple of wine glasses and the "Take It Easy" on the top there. This one's a lovely one. This one's done by Lynn. Lynn's used that Pinstripe stamp and stamped in the lovely squirrel red and the elephant grey ink pads to make up the background, and then done some die cutting and sunk into that the "Let's Celebrate," the cheers, wine glasses and pub image. Another one here that's gone for that lovely Days Gone By stamp in the background, brought in the glasses, brought in the cheers, happy anniversary, and of course that beautiful pub imagery to the front. Now one here done by Sharon. Sharon's teamed our pub stamp and our glasses and our happy birthday cheers elements all over the top of our floral lace die set, which is really, really pretty. That's the floral square, if I remember rightly. Another one here sunk into one of our foiled inkable frames, bringing in the beers, the cheers, and the happy birthday around the edges of that beautiful frame. Now another one here by Sharon. Sharon's done some great stenciling in the background. She's stamped her cheers wording over that, and then she's made this cool focal just out of those beer glasses, and then decorated that up and added the happy birthday "Fancy a Pint." Another MDF created by Sharon. This time she's used one of our large MDF tags, and she's created this crisscross effect, used the screw heads from our mechanical collection, and used this twine to make a little notice board to post back in elements from the newsprint stamp, and of course added on the pub at the bottom here. Now another fun one. This one is our pub being stamped in the middle here, just layered up with a little bit of greenery. In the background, we've got the happy birthday stamp being stamped all over that, and then the wine glass stamp come in and stamped over the top of that, and then painted in with some of our metallic red ink, so that we've got some nice shiny wine glasses going on to fill that background. Another card here with the pub coming in to be the focal point, with the newsprint being used in the background, "Happy Retirement," "Take It Easy," and a little beer on the side of that one. Now another one here by Sharon. Sharon's brought in the pub again this time, added on some of that lovely texture, added on the beer glass, added on the wine, added on the happy birthday stamp in the background, and these beautiful corners as well really set that together, don't they? Then we've got one done by Wendy. Now this is a cool card. This is like a little clever easel. I really like this. It of course folds down flat for posting, but when popped up creates this little micro easel effect, which I thought was very, very cool. And it's got kind of like a Polaroid camera-esque look to it. I don't know why I feel that, but very, very cool fold, and one I haven't yet tried myself, but really want to. Another pub, this time nestled within one of our foiled inkable frames, little "With Love," and then a couple of beers down in the corner. Nice little A6 card coming in for you next time. This one again, stamped newsprint background in our metallic gold, and then the pub pot over the front of it and then coloured in. So you see that newsprint coming through in the brickwork, which is really lovely. Similar idea done this time again on an A6 card, but instead of being landscape, going portrait, and gone slightly more vintage with our colourings for this one. Just a couple more to share with you. This one's done by Lynn, a lovely Z fold card where she's put the pub on the front there with the happy birthday. I love the way she's brought in the tree and the flower bed, which of course come in with the castle. So does the cloud and the sun, really showing that interchangeability between the complete set. And then on the inside, you've got those beers and a couple of little expressions on that as well. And then lastly, we've got this one, which is again pub at the focal, and then beers being used to stamp and create a lovely background effect to go behind just in a small panel. You'll even spot just running through that is our Pinstripe stamp as well, showing you how everything is going to work together, whether it's from this collection or previous collections. So don't forget, if you do like the look of that Pinstripe Elegance stamp, that one doesn't come in the bundle we're talking about today. That one is available in other bundles if you'd like to have a look at it. But like you see on that last card, it is kind of an essential, whether it's with this collection or just about anything. This one is £11.99 on its own. Its offer price is just £10.79. And then taking you back to the big bundle today, of course, these are available as individuals if you prefer, with 10% off, but your big bundle is where your biggest saving is going to be. So we've got our happy birthday, our floral vines, our newsprint days gone by, we've got our church, we've got our lighthouse, we've got our castle, and of course we've got our pub, all coming together to make up our architectural collection bundle. Now this bundle should be £75.93, sorry, but your offer price is just £64.99. Now, once again, that is going to qualify you for free UK P&P. So if you do live within the UK and you wish to purchase this bundle, you're not going to have to pay a penny in having it posted to you. Unless, of course, you wish to upgrade it to first class P&P, which has a flat rate of £3.95. If you did just fall in love with one stamp, for instance, and you just want to come in for that one and it's under £10, do not fear. You can, of course, purchase just one item or as many items as you wish to, but if your total comes to under £10, then your basket and checkout will be charged at £2.95 for P&P. Now, of course, if you're watching this from anywhere in the world and you'd like to have these items sent to you, do not fear. We do post internationally every day, so do not fear about that one iota. You can have this or any other item sent to you for a flat rate of £10 international P&P. If we find it cheaper than £10, we'll actually refund the difference to you. If it costs more than £10, then here at Craftmania, we will pay that for you in our best way to keep postage as low cost and pocket friendly as we can for everybody in the world. If you have any questions about what you've seen in today's video or anything I can help answer for you, please don't hesitate to pop them questions in the comments and I will come on and answer them as soon as I can. If you're looking for the goodies featured in today's video, then don't forget there is a direct link in the description to this video, or of course you can pop onto the website www.craftmaniacrafts.com. Thank you very much for watching today. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. I look forward to seeing you all again very, very soon. Bye for now.